I hear the voice of my grandmother calling me. I hear the voice of my grandmother calling me. Wake up, she says, wake up, listen, 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 listen. May the rivers all run free. May the mountains grow unspoiled. May the trees grow tall. May the air be pure. May the earth be shared by all. I hear the voice of my grandmother calling me. I hear the voice of my grandmother calling me. Wake up, she said, wake up, listen, 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 listen. May the rivers all run free. May the mountains grow unspoiled. May the trees grow tall. May the air be pure. May the earth be shared by all. Good morning to the east, where the sun rises in the morning. Good morning to the west, where the sun sets at night. Good morning to the south, where the lands are warm. Good morning to the north, where the lands are cold. And good morning to the earth, myself and my soul. Bless you. So yesterday, we had the assignment from Mama Caroline to think about who our grandmothers were and ask our parents who our grandmothers were. And I wanted to share the project that Willow drew. She wrote on one of the branches of the tree, the grandmothers on my side of the family, and on the other side of the branches for her dad's side of the family. And so I wanted to share that with you in case you haven't done it yet. This is one example of a way that you could remember who your grandmothers are and start to know the names of even their mothers and your grandmother's grandmothers. And that's where we stopped. So we're going to have to talk to my mom and get more information to make our branches even bigger and bigger and bigger. So thank you so much, Caroline, for that. We're going to stand up and push our chairs back. And because today I was feeling a little off balance, shh, I'm gonna ask for quietness. I was feeling a little off balance, so I thought, hey, why don't we think about how to get back into balance? And there's ways that your emotions or your heart might feel off balance. There's ways that your mind might feel off balance, and also there's ways that your physical body might feel unbalanced. But if you bring one of those back into balance, it helps all of them get aligned again. So today we're going to start. We'll do that one another day. So today we're going to start with the most strong pose I know, which is mountain pose. So Willow's going to move her butterfly cape out of the way so everyone can see me. And mountain pose is with your chest lifted, your shoulders back, your feet firmly on the ground, and your hands by your side. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths here in mountain pose and feel each part of your foot that's touching the ground and feel strong in mountain pose. So inhale, 1 big breath.
Do you want to do this?
Exhale. Inhale, a 2nd big breath. And exhale. My mountain pose is getting even stronger now. And breathe out. And our last deep breath in. Blow it out. Okay, and next is a more challenging pose, but I know everyone can do it, even River. So Willow, come to the side. And butterfly, this might be an interesting one for you. So we're going to take our one foot, our right foot, and plant it strong in the ground and lift our left foot. This is tree pose. You can put your foot at the ankle of your other foot, or you can lift it so that your foot touches your knee on the inside. And we're gonna do 3 deep breaths here. Extra credit if you're holding someone while you're doing this. Okay, so inhale, exhale. Again, inhale, and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. I love seeing the arms moving too. You can add arms to it. Let's put our foot down that was raised and change feet, change legs. So you can have hands at your heart. You could do hands over your head. You could do hands to your side, or you can move your hands with your breath. And when you've done 3 breaths, you can set your foot down. Okay, come on down. Okay, this one you gotta do on your own, buddy. And this is our last balance pose we're going to do. And this one I'll show you from the side. Okay, so it's going to be lifting your foot and holding it with your opposite, you could do, no, with your same arm. So if it's your left foot, you're gonna hold it with your left hand. And you can lift your right arm up to the sky so that you've got your fingers reaching for the sun and your foot that's on the ground reaching towards the roots of a tree. And do 3 breaths like that. Inhale and exhale. 2, blow it out. No, thank you, River. No, that's not funny, sweetheart. Okay, and finish your last breath and then switch sides. So now you've got your right foot up in the air being held by your hand and your left foot planted down to the ground. River, that's not safe, okay? Mama's really balancing now. And inhale, 1, exhale. Wow, this feels good. I feel more in balance already. And a second deep breath. And a 3rd deep breath. Ooh, look at partner yoga. You can hold someone's hand if you want to balance with a friend. That's nice. Thanks, River. Set your foot down. And then we're going to lift up to the sky, wiggle our hands with a deep breath and blow it out. And again, lift it up to the sky and blow it out. And shake it off to the side. I don't know if it's the deep breathing or the balancing, but I feel more refreshed. Right now, it's not food time, River. All right, so I have a new song to share with you today before we go into gratitude. And some of you might have heard it before. I learned it from my friend Krisha, and she learned it at an Art of Mentoring class that she went to. It's called Grateful to Be. So I'm gonna sing the first line, and then you can repeat it after me, and then we'll sing it all together. I am grateful to be, your turn. I am grateful to be lungs breathing, heart beating, joyful and free. Lungs breathing, heart beating, joyful and free. And even though the hard times are all around me, and even though the hard times are all around me, I am grateful to be. I am grateful to be. That's the first verse. We'll learn the second verse another day, but let's start from the beginning and do it all together. Okay, get your singing voices on. We're gonna sing as loud as we can in the house, but not yelling. Strong voice. I am grateful to be. Lungs breathing, heart beating, joyful and free. And even though around me, I am grateful to be. Let's do it again, but this time with quiet voices. I am grateful to be. Lungs breathing, heart beating, joyful and free. Even though the hard times are all around me, I am grateful to be. Oh, it's true to these times. Yay. All right, so we're going to share some gratitude today, and we're going to break up into a smaller group so that you'll have a little more time to share your gratitude today. And when we come back in, we'll hear from a couple people highlights from gratitude were. Okay, just give us a minute and we will change into our rooms.
Join.
So other people are gonna do it. It was recorded.
You're right. Okay, welcome back, everyone. Here we are.
I'll make you some.
So I'd like to ask everyone
Fun chocolate
to on mute, but I wanted to ask Faith if you could keep your microphone open so that we can hear from you if you wanted to share something that was talked about as gratitude in your group.
You remember? Was something that someone said they were grateful for, or you?
Remember, I said that I was grateful to have a pretty backyard and a pretty house.
That is, I second that. Thank you. I'm grateful for having a nice house and a yard too. Okay, is there anyone else who wants to share? You can raise your hand like that. Wants to share with the big group one piece of gratitude.
Can I share more?
You will. I'll let Cadence go first and then you will, okay?
I'm grateful for, well, what's the first thing I said I was grateful for? Well, I guess I'm grateful for my toys and this cool Play-Doh motion thingy. It's like air clay.
Thank you, Cadence.
I'm grateful.
Lolo's gonna share one thing.
I am grateful for my little toy.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I'm grateful for my little toy too. My toy can make a sound.
Okay, and we're gonna do one
And the
more
red tail
big
hawk.
group sharing with Talia.
Cadence already know
Go
that.
ahead,
Ty, what are you grateful for? I'm grateful for the family, our family, the earth, and that you guide us. Okay.
Tesla, did you want to share one thing too? Or are you good?
I'm grateful for our house. So we have a nice place to live because some people are poor. Really grateful for that. Tesla?
I'm joining you all with that. Thank you so much.
Tesla?
We're gonna do conversations afterwards, but right now
Tesla,
it's
did you move?
story time. Sweetheart, we're gonna keep our comments for afterwards. We'll do group visit afterwards. We'll have a time when everyone can open up their microphones and talk and catch up. So
Cashews.
we started our stories with A is for Arendo, B is for Bay, C is for
The
cattail,
story.
D is for
Deer.
deer, E is for elderberry, F was for fish
Fish
head,
head.
G was for grub,
Grub.
H for hand drill,
Drill.
I for indigenous, J for scrub jay. And
J.
today's letter is K. So let's listen to the story and
K.
hear what will happen.
K.
Anything can happen in a fairy tale or rhyme when you say the magic words. Once upon a time. Once upon a time, not long ago and not far away, was a group of children very much like our group who all lived in the same neighborhood. And they all knew all the neighbors. And the children would run and play up and down the block. At the end of the block, there was one big house that did not have any children living there, but it was right next to the creek where all the children liked to play. And every day when the children would come out to walk down the street and go to the creek, this old mean lady would come out from the house next to the creek and yell at the children, "Get off my lawn! Get away from here!" Oh boy, did she have a lot to say. And every day the children would laugh and run away as fast as they could so that they wouldn't hear her yelling at them. And they didn't like her because she was so mean. And every day she would come out with the same ratty old sandals on that were falling apart at the seams, and her hair was always a mess, and it always seemed like she was wearing the same clothes. And the kids would always laugh and say, "Oh, she doesn't have any shoes, haha," and run away and go play in the creek. And that just seemed to make her so much madder. And this would go on every day that they went down to the creek. The same old mean lady would come out of the house yelling at the kids, "Go away, get away from me, get away from the lawn, don't step on my flowers." And the children would just run as fast as they could to get away. One day though, as the children were tiptoeing past her lawn, trying not to get seen and using fox walking, quiet as could be, they noticed that there was a whole bunch of clovers in the yard. And they were all in bloom, and the bees were buzzing from flower to flower, collecting the pollen. And while they were fox walking past the yard, the old mean lady came out from her door to get the newspaper. And this time, as she was stepping off her porch onto the lawn to pick up the newspaper, her sandals ripped. And she took a barefooted step on the grass right where the clovers were and the bees. And the next thing the children heard was, "Ew! Ow!" And the old lady, even though she seemed like she couldn't move very fast, sure did move fast. And she hopped on one foot and looked at the bottom of her foot. And sure enough, a bee was in her foot. And the children all ran to hid behind the oak tree because they did not want to get seen, especially when she was in a mood. So they just watched and observed what she did. And the old mean lady sat down on the edge of the porch, looking at her foot, and flicked the bee off. She then bent down onto the grass and was fiddling around between the leaves with her hands, really slowly saying, "Where is that? Where is that?" And then she picked up a leaf that was a broad leaf with a lot of veins all going down. They could see because they were pretty close, even though they were quiet. She didn't see them. She chewed it up in her mouth, spit out this green goo and put it right on her foot, and then took a deep breath and relaxed. The children were all looking like, "What is she doing? Gosh, that mean old lady with the plant goo in her foot." And she just sat there and they all just watched. And then after a while, she went back inside with her newspaper and closed the door. And the kids ran to go play in the creek. But they were all wondering, what was that lady doing with the plants and her foot? And they knew that she got stung by a bee, but they weren't sure what happened, but it seemed to help. And they kept on playing. And then in the afternoon, when they were hungry for lunch, came back home. Everyone told their parents what happened. The mean old lady got stung by a bee. The mean old lady got stung by a bee, and she put this green goo on it, and it seemed to help. The parents were all like, "What? What? This is crazy. What do you mean? What happened? How'd she get stung by a bee?" And Hazel said, "Mama, her sandal ripped when she was stepping off the porch, and that's why she stepped on a bee." Her sandal ripped? What do you mean? And then Hazel told her mommy the whole story about how every day this mean old lady comes out of the porch, her hair is a mess, she wears the same clothes, and her sandals are always falling apart. Caroline thought, I wonder if maybe she just needs some new shoes. Maybe that would help her feel better and not be in such a bad mood. And at the same time that Hazel was having that conversation with her mom, Faith was telling her mom, "Mom, this mean old lady, she always comes out with messy hair. I don't know why she has such messy hair." And her mom said, maybe she needs a new comb. Maybe she needs some shampoo. I wonder if we could just get her a comb and shampoo, if that might help her hair feel better. And at the same time that Faith was having that conversation, London was having a conversation with his mom, and Tesla was having a conversation with her mom, and Talia was having a conversation with her mom, and Cadence was having a conversation with her mom, and Harlan, and all the kids were talking to their parents about this mean old lady who stepped on a bee and was always yelling at the kids.
No,
Somehow,
why did we not talk?
oh, just wait, you're gonna be talking. And all the parents had some great ideas, like maybe she needed a new pair of pajamas. Maybe that's why she always wears the same clothes. Maybe she doesn't have pajamas. Maybe she needs a new sweater. And River and Willow's daddy was very thoughtful, and he said, well, maybe she needs some music. Maybe she just doesn't have any music in her house. Music always makes me happy. And all the parents were thinking about ways that they could help this woman have a little more joy in her life. So the parents all called each other on the phone and said, what do you think about making a little care basket for this mean old lady? Because maybe she's not really mean, but maybe she just needs some help. So Cadence's family decided to bake a batch of cookies. Talia and Tesla's mama and Chance's mama decided to help get some clothes that might fit her and put them in a basket. And Caroline said, oh, you know what? She and I probably wear the same size sandals, and I have this nice extra pair. I'd like to give them to her. And Faith's mom already had put together a little care package of shower goodies with shampoo and conditioner and a nice comb. And Willow and River decided to bring her some of the tea that they really enjoy. So the next day, the children all got the care baskets together and snuck even sneakier than before because they knew they didn't want to get caught and get yelled at. And instead of running, they all fox walked before dawn, before the newspaper delivery. They crept up quietly, one at a time, and left their care baskets on the porch for the mean old lady. And then they snuck back home as fast as could be so they wouldn't get caught. And before you know it, they were back home telling their parents, we did it, we didn't get caught, we left our care package of goodies for the mean old lady. And the parents started to say, okay, thank you. I wonder if she's gonna get them and what she's gonna say. And then the next day, when it was time to go play at the creek, the kids walked by, kind of wondering what would happen. And when they got to the property where the mean old lady lived, there was a big sign on the gate that said, thank you. She got it. The kids were so excited. Not only did she get it, but she said, thank you. She must not be mean after all. And so they went down to the creek to play, and they were watching her front porch, and they would take turns playing and watching and playing and watching. And the next thing was that she opened the door and came out in her new sandals, her new outfit, her hair was done nicely, and she was eating a cookie. And she had a smile on her face. And ever since then, she was known as the nice lady down the street because she was never mean again. And if things haven't changed, they are still the same today. Anything can happen in a fairy tale, alright. When you say the magic word, once upon a time. Let's go through it because today's letter was K. See if you can make your fingers into the position of K for kindness. And the way you sign kindness in sign language is you take the love from your heart and you share it with people in front of you. Just like this, a circle of kindness. So K is for kindness. A is for Arundo, B is for bay, C is for cattail, D is for deer, E is for elderberry, F is for fish heads, G is for grub, H is for hand drill, I is for indigenous, J is for scrub jay, and K is for kindness.
And
so in that story, the children all did something very kind with their parents. So in our breakout session now, we're going to share one kind thing that you would like to do today. So here we go. We're going to break up into our small groups for sharing.
Can I go with? Can you read the words? Which one you can go with?
Okay, we are welcoming everyone back to our main room. Glad that you're here. Hope everyone had a nice conversation about kindness. We look forward to tomorrow after our good day of doing kind deeds. And let's do our closing song together now. And take out the earth and your person standing. And here we go. Standing like a tree with my roots down deep, branches wide and open. Come down the rain, come down the sun, come down the root to the heart that is open. Standing like a tree with my roots down deep, branches wide and open. Come down the rain, come down the sun, come down the fruit to the heart that is open. Goodbye. Blessed may the sun shine bright in your heart today. Goodbye. Blessings on your way. May the sun shine bright in your heart today. Bye, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day of kindness.